Hey guys, let's knock out the skill issue Mythic Alleria guide real quick. This will probably be a little bit longer than normal, but yeah, let's just get into it. So phase one, we are killing Demiar first, by far the most dangerous dad. Here is which arrows we are using. So the first, second, and fourth just get shot into Narnia. The most dangerous part of this phase is that if you get an arrow on you, it has to be a personal, and you have to try to make it so that it doesn't go through anyone else in the raid. That's more of everyone else's job to make sure that you don't shoot it through them more than yours. If you have to use the third, fifth, and sixth to kill off these ads, then people, you have to do your job. Other people around you have to be aware of it. The number one thing that kills people in phase one is they die to arrow plus something else happens with arrow. Outside of that, you really can't die unless you chronically make a mistake. So get it in your head now. Every single time you have an arrow on you, you have to use a personal. Tanks, I don't really care how we do this, which one of you is going where to start. You guys can figure that out. Essentially, the only thing you guys need to know is one of you is taking Demiar, one of you is taking Morium, and then whichever one is taking Morium, which will die second, has to go over and tank Varellus while the other one goes to Morium. Um, I don't care the order in which we do that. That's for you guys to decide. Um, Raid movement in this is semi important. We don't need to be super anal about it, but we do need to be super aware of how we are going to be moving. So, first bait of the puddles of the bombs go close to Demiar. We start moving towards Morium. We can drop anywhere along this outer edge, doesn't really matter. Second bait, after the second bait goes off, we will lock gate through Morium and go over here, do a third bait, and then fourth bait for Varellus. As soon as Morium dies, which is basically almost close to when the phase ends, there's probably about, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds left once Morium actually gets hit by this fifth arrow. You can start dropping in the center, so we don't have to be like super crazy about this fourth bait. But the thing that we can't do is we can't put the second or the third bait in the center. That's very, very bad. It's going to make the arrow person that has to kill Morium put in even more danger than they already have been. Um, and yeah, that's kind of it for the movement. The biggest thing that you need to do if you are the arrow targeted person, uh, it's not really relevant with Demiar. It's really relevant with Morium and then Varellus to a slighter degree. But let's just say Thick here, for example, even though it's not possible, gets targeted with this arrow. If he's a DPS healer, whatever, don't go behind. Just stay in front. It's going to be easier for all the healers to keep you topped up, especially with as puddles start clouding up the outside of the room. Just please make sure you're staying in range of healers. Being out of range of healers is one of the chronic mistakes I was referring to and dying. So, intermission, it's not really an intermission. It's just like intermission 2 of heroic. Just do what we normally do. We'll be starting in the X platform, which means when we kill Varellus, we all want to be like approximately right here where my mouse is at. And we rotate and we end at the blue platform. Got a phone call, had to cut the video. Look at me editing. All right, back to the fight. Let's go to phase two. We have a hit squad. It's going to be Tigger, Zansha, Mo, and Let's. This also might include Linux as well because this guy has 0 health, and that's good Twist of Fate uptime, but we will see. All of you guys can either gate over, which this will be down to start the fight, like pre-pull, so that you guys warlocks don't have to put this down in the middle of the pull. Or you guys can jump over, or you guys can get over, and then whatever you don't do, you can use the opposite for. Xancha, you're the only person that may need help getting back across, which whatever you do. So just let me know if we need to do more for you. So for phase two, the number one most important thing is the arrows that existed in heroic. They have to go through the boss. Also, the little ads in heroic phase two still exist too, so those have to get hit and die. Obviously, there really isn't a huge emphasis to clear your dot stacks from the sting dot, whatever the purple arrow dot is called. So don't make it like so clear if you can, but don't make it like a huge priority too, especially ranged. There's a lot of higher priority things for range to be doing. But the way that these arrows work is that there's essentially going to be two mobs that will exist somewhere in the platform, and they're going to target 2 players each, so it's going to be a total of 4. It can be 3, but we'll cover that instance in a second. And essentially, what's going to happen is, let's say it's targeting this melee, and then there is a ranged, and that arrow bounces off that melee and then goes to that ranged. So it's like a ricochet, so to speak. You just have to make it so that you're in underneath the boss, 1, to remove the energy, and 2, to clear the debuff from the ads to make them die. And then there's going to be 2 other people that get it from a second image elsewhere as well. There is a possibility where this can be 3 people that get targeted, and the way that works is we have this ricochet that happens from this melee player to this range player, and then let's say that we have a second arrow that is going from the second ad here, and then this ricochets and just so happens to go on another player that is already getting ricocheted another arrow to them. This is a possibility. It doesn't really change anything. It is something to be careful of because this player is getting hit by 2 arrows no matter what now, so they have to be a little bit more survivable in that circumstance. But yeah, the whole point of hitting the boss with these arrows is to remove 5 energy. If we fail to do so, we're going to transition into phase 3 faster than we want to, which we'll cover that in just a little bit. Again, hit squad as soon as you guys are done. Come back over to this platform. Obelisks, it's the bow and arrow mechanic. I'm going to be using that interchangeably for the rest of the video. Just point them away from the group as best as you can. But the biggest thing, and we'll watch a video clip to kind of demonstrate how this is going to look in practice, is there's going to be 2 ghost white images of Alleria. One's going to be across the room and one's going to be on the platform that we're on. The way we're handling this is the ranged, and I know this is going to seem semi-counterintuitive, but it's just easier to do it this way. The range will always hit the ad of which the platform we are on, okay? So ranged will never go for any other ad. So like this one across the room, range will never aim for. They will only aim for this one. Melee will always aim for the one that is not on the platform that we are on. It's better to do it this way, mostly for positioning and not like accidentally killing each other is the number one thing. When you get this bow and arrow obelisk on you, you stop doing damage. Your only priority is to make sure this mob gets hit. Failing to hit this mob is probably going to end up wiping us. So you have to prioritize this above everything else. Don't forget, you can use these side arrows to hit 2. You don't have to use the center one. Whatever is easiest and not is going to put the raid in less danger is always going to be the priority. It is always 1 range DPS and 1 melee DPS that gets targeted with this. Fizz, since you're a Holy Paladin, you are considered ranged and you can get this. And I believe all other healers are considered ranged as well. So the movement for phase 2, we're going to start on the edge as a group. We're going to bait drops, move here, get bow and arrows, which would happen where these 2 marks are at. Once we get the bow and arrows, we move back to do a second bait. We do the second bait, the bow and arrows go off, and then we move, and we basically just keep baiting obelisks ahead, and then move back, bait the bombs, keep doing that. We want to drop 4 times on this platform. If we drop 3, it's not a big deal, but we definitely want to be between 3 and 4. Melee, you also get these, and your movement should be mimicking range, except you don't have to go back and bait. You just want to be playing ahead, so like in the direction the boss is moving at all times. So bait bows, shoot them anywhere for the first ones. They don't have to hit any images. Bait the ranged orbs, move bait obelisk, and then use the obelisk to kill the ghostly simulacrums, 4, during the third part, so while we're baiting the obelisks and killing them, ranged go back and do the second bait, and then we just continue this on, and then after we drop the 4th bombs, we'll jump over to X. Intermission 2, it's kind of a joke. The outside is safe first, the inside is safe on second, and then you just go to phase 3. It's a giant joke. This is going to be very much rinse and repeat. for every single platform. There's no platform that really does anything too differently than one another. Um, but doing this first one correctly is the most important. The most important thing right off the bat is we all need to be in the center of the room. The boss needs to be closer to the blue marker on this side, and then the raid needs to be closer to the green platform marker. The reason for this is where the simulacrum and the ad spawns next is based off of either the boss's position or based off the raid's positioning. I believe it's the raid's position more than the boss's position. It doesn't really matter. Just stand here, put boss here, and we'll bait it correctly. Right when we get the first simulacrum and add to spawn, obelisk will happen simultaneously. Uh, this is not a gate move. This is a jump over move in this scenario. So let's just go ahead and get rid of those warlock gates. So you'll jump over at this time. If you get obelisk at this time, you stay over here, or you can jump over, but you're just like playing by the edge so that you make sure no one gets killed by your obelisks. And this is where Dalt is going to be taunting and doing his meta immune to immune one of the tethers. Going into the first ad, I know there's a lot going on here. The boss movement will be these red arrows. So here, things spawn, boss goes here as we jump over, and then you'll move the boss all the way back here. Ranged automatically come back here to start baiting, and then we are killing these ads, Borellus and the Simulacrum. Just kill them. I know some people are like making some DPS hit the boss here and some DPS hit these guys and splitting it. We can talk about if we want to do that, but as long as these things die, the boss dies. It just doesn't seem like it's necessary to split DPS because there is no DPS check, as long as we're not silly. So there's also going to be obelisks that spawn before we have to go and do this bait ranged. So 4 sets, or not 4 sets, but 4 obelisks will be out at one given time. So just be aware of that, please. After we kill those ads, we all go to the center. There is bombs that we dropped back here now. We're going to get tethers. This is Fizz's first taunt with his immunity. It doesn't matter if you use Bop or Bubble here, Fizz. It's whatever you want to do. We will break these tethers, and then we will move boss here. And then we will wait, and I will show you in the video what we're waiting for before we do a gate on this move. It is very close timing. It's going to look very scary, but you have to wait until the last moment to move, and we'll go over a video to show you what that looks like. And then it's kind of just repeat. We're going to move over. Boss goes back up here. We're baiting poop. We're killing this one. This is the most dangerous. The second ad that comes out is the most dangerous. It's the interrupt ad. It only does 1 interrupt as long as we kill it at a good pace. So it's not going to be all that bad. But it does coincide with tether breaks as soon as we come over, which reminds me, when we gate over going from blue platform to green platform, we are not breaking these tethers instantly. We're still calling them just like how we did in heroic. So do the bait, come back to the center, get more tethers. This is Fizz's second immune. He can either immune this one or the next one. I'm not decided on which one yet. It probably doesn't really matter, but we'll talk about it as a raid and figure it out. We'll break these tethers. We'll go back down here to this part before the platform starts getting filled, and this is a jump over. In the assignments tab of the spreadsheet is how all of you can get over by jumping. You need to make sure you go look at POVs and study it extensively, because getting 7.5 minutes into the fight and you dying and us not killing the boss because we failed to do this jump correctly is just incredibly cringe. Do not let that happen. Know how to do the jump correctly. If we don't immune this one, Fizz, then you'll immune this one. This is probably the highest damage of all of phase 3. It's 3 tethers breaks plus obelisk going back to back to back. As soon as we do those, again, same thing, bait, kill this stuff, and then boss will die right here more than likely. There's a chance we don't even have to kill these guys, and we can just focus boss at this point. By some reason, if the boss is not dead, we go back to the center, we do more tethers, and then we go to either the point, we can go down here, we can go up here, it doesn't really matter, just one of the further away ends of the fight, and we kill or we be killed. And that's kind of about it. So we're going to hopefully do this pretty quickly. Phase 1, obelisks, basically right off the bat. We are 10 seconds in the fight, we get our first obelisks. Interrupt ads dying first, we get our first bomb bait. And then there's going to be 3 others. That's the biggest difference probably. Instead of 3 blow-ups with 1 being staggered, then 2 at the same time, it's 1 being staggered and then 3 blow-up at the same time. Um, First arrows coming out, notice how they get them far away from the group so no one else can really be hit. And they're not hitting any Demiar or Morium or Varellus at this time. The biggest reason, just so everyone's aware too, that we can't hit the arrows on the mini bosses before this is as soon as you hit the bosses with one of those arrows, they are no longer able to accrue the damage amplification stacks. So, all right, so we've done the first bait. We get obelisks. We shoot these into Narnia. These void droplets getting underneath the boss is incredibly important. I'm going to get with Fizz and Wumbo before this to kind of tell you guys which ones I want you to focus on gripping in to getting them in. If there is any DPS check, is actually phase 1. A lot of raid teams that are having higher pull counts are doing so because they're having a hard time meeting the phase 1 DPS check. By no means is make it a lust angle. It just means getting the void droplets underneath really, really well is important. Also, you probably don't use your CDs until about 20 seconds in, just as a heads up. So we can start accruing those damage amplification stacks on the bosses. So now we're going to do our second bait. And they just hit Demiar with his arrow. So now he's dead. Don't forget to use a personal. This is the bomb bait. Now they're going to gate across the room after the obelisk spawn. Getting arrows, these hit nothing. Again, try not to hit your friends with these. And they're just going to kill Morium, get all the stacks underneath. They're going to hit Morium with this upcoming arrow. This is the third bait spot where that gate was at, by the way. So arrow going through Morium now, and then keep repeating this. And last arrow will go through Varellus. The cutoff time to kill us is 210. At 210, it enrages. So go through the intermission. It's just the second intermission of Heroic. You all know how to do it. Get hit by either the odd sets or the even sets. Just make sure you don't take 2 stacks of the arrow hits back to back, or you will die in Mythic. So right off the rip, we're starting close to the center of the room. Same knockup as normal. Platform breaks. Warlock gate down. Hit squad gets over. Annihilates this guy as soon as possible. If we do use you here, Linux, you won't be hitting the rift. You'll just be dotting the rift to get your uptime and then hitting Alleria. We see obelisk happening here. Rift dies. Jump back over, gate back over, whichever, and into our first bait of these bombs. Now we're going to do a big movement ahead to get these obelisks. And you see, I'll back it up just a little bit. Look at this left silver simulacrum right here, and then you can also look at this one all the way back in the room. Notice how it's white, and then these obelisks come out, and then as soon as the obelisk is pointing at it, it turns big and purple. That's your indicator that you're aiming for it. These far away ranged ones, it's super, super important that you're paying attention to that. It's a lot easier to see, obviously, when they're closer. Okay, so we get obelisks, dropping bombs. Get these arrows. You get these as a range player, you automatically go into melee. Again, the rest of the range, we don't really clear about carrying the dot stack at all. Just make sure the ads and the boss, especially the boss, gets hit by it. Get grips. Notice how they're gripping in the direction they're moving boss. Bait obelisks ahead of us. Come back, do the bait for the bombs. Simulacrums turn purple. That's 1. That's 2 up there. Doing the bait. That's the third bait. This is going to be the fourth bait. They drop everything over here. And then they're going to gate across. And then just again, we do the obelisk, shoot behind, shoot far, do the drops, do the arrows. I mean, it's just a super repetitive phase. The only thing I want to point out is that if we push at the 5-minute, it would be right here if we miss 1 arrow. If we push at this timing, it's not the end of the world. We can still make it work and get a kill. It's just less ideal. If we do push past this part and we get the next set of arrows and these next bombs with everything else going on, it is the highest damage part of probably the entire fight, maybe except for the last part of phase 3. But you'll just watch these health bars don't really get healthy for the rest of this phase until they end up phasing here in the next 3 seconds. So If we need to phase early just because of deaths, so be it. But this is a very good personal. I would say anything from 512 through 523 is a very good personal usage. It's a knockback, pushback, whatever you want to call it, going into the intermission 2. And this is all it is. This outside part is safe. We step inside, and now the inside is safe. And we go to phase 3. Positioning super important from the entire raid. We're standing so that we're close to, I believe this would be the green platform for us on our right. Simulacrum is pointed towards whatever blue marker I said in the raid plan. We get these obelisks. They can stay here. They can follow. This is a jump. This is not a gate over. One or gate debuff is not over. So again, make sure you know how to do this jump successfully. Varellus in the Simulacrum spawn. We get another set of obelisks. 2 more here. 2 more before we jumped. And we go to the top of the room to bait. And we're just hitting Varellus. And we're hitting the Simulacrum. We're going to get first bombs coming out right here. And then, again, 3 more targeted on people. So 4 blow up at the same time. We'll get tethers at this part. Before these bombs blow up, 4 are going to hit at the exact same moment. We want to wait to recover from this, and then we will start breaking tethers. This would only be 2 for us, more than likely. And now we're getting ready. This is probably the most important part of this entire phase. She's going to start covering the platform with her goo. She's going to cast Aspect of the End into Grasp of the Emptiness. We have to wait for the Grasp to cast. We cannot leave this platform early. I cannot emphasize that enough. We will wipe if we leave early. There's going to be these little blue planets that are about to start coming out of her. Okay? Those things. Once we start seeing that graphic, we can gate over. It's also going to be with tether breaks. So this is a super dangerous part of the fight as well. This is 655, let's call it. And we just do the same thing. Get 2 sets of obelisks. Go and bait at the top of the room. Kill. This is the interrupt ad. This is by far the most dangerous platform. So be afraid. We're going to bait bombs. And then we're going to get tethers again. Wait for all the bombs to hit before we start breaking tethers. And then we go to the next jump over. This has to be a jump unless you're a warlock, and then you can gate a second time. There are feathers on this one. There were not feathers on the first jump we had to do. So if you need help, grab a feather, get a rescue. Get tethers as soon as we land. Simulacrum and the ad spawn. This is the last super high damage taken spot of the entire fight. And we are hitting boss, killing the ads. And then if we get these tethers right here, so be it. We will either break them or not break them, depending on what the raid health looks like at this point. And then if she casts her last cast of taking up the platform, we just drag her to a corner. And we kill boss, and that's it. So, in the spreadsheet that I have for the raid, sorry, I don't have it on the same tab. There'll be clips to show you guys all of these things for quick references. I have assignments for all these things, what you have to your use for your class that you play for doing these things, Fizz and Dalt, your taunt timings, when we are jumping, when we are gating, what are the incredibly dangerous areas of the entire fight, and then obviously all the raid plans. So sorry for the longer video, guys. Is what it is. We will do some editing and get this out. But thank you guys once again. It is incredibly important on this fight and obviously for the rest of the tier that you are doing more prep individually on things that are not covered about in these videos more than ever. Like, let's make sure we're locking in. The fights are going to take longer to kill. It's going to be like 7-8 minute pulls, if not longer, to kill the rest of the bosses of this tier, which means our time gets even more precious. Make sure all of the tank taunting things are figured out with what we want to do on phase 1. Make sure you guys have your LRs filled out with defensive usages and stuff, and just, leave no stone unturned. And obviously I'm available for questions. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.